Will a revelation about Norman Osborn's past be the thing that finally undoes Kindred? Well, let's hop into the pages of Amazing Spider-Man issue number 72 and find out together, shall we? Alrighty then, so this issue opens up on a familiar sight from Sinister War, and that would be Spider-Man getting the crap beaten out of him in the graveyard. At this point, honestly, I think we've seen this fight from pretty much every angle under the sun. But believe it or not, this story isn't actually about Spider-Man, not that much anyway, it's about Norman Osborn. We get treated to a flashback of the early years of the man who would be Goblin, and we actually see him at what might arguably be his lowest point. His work is being overlooked, and his partner Mendel Strom is receiving many awards and accolades. It's on this day that Norman meets a very strange man who claims that he can change Norman's fortune, but only for a price. Norman turns the guy down, thinking he's crazy, but he would actually end up seeing this mysterious figure several more times throughout his life, as we end up seeing. Now, back in the present, Norman had taken the mysterious key that Mendel Strom left him in his will and used it to open an abandoned mansion somewhere in Europe. It's in the basement. Norman ends up coming face to face with another very familiar sight to Spider-Man fans. It's a secret Goblin lab with giant screens almost exactly like the one from the end of the Clone Saga, but even more than that, like the laboratory we saw during the events of Spider-Man Legacy of Evil from 1996. In fact, this place is run by an Osborn AI, which I think is implied to be the very same one from that story. It's kind of cool to see the new sinless Osborn argue it out with his older, more evil self. A. Osborn says that he knows the truth about Kindred and the thing that Osborn always knew but refused to admit about his own son, Harry. More on this in a minute, though. Speaking of Harry, we see that he and Carly Cooper are still trapped inside Kindred's prison. But when they break through a wall, they end up right back in Carly's morgue. Is this some kind of magic spell? Maybe a Mysterio illusion? It's hard to tell, but Harry demands to know who the extra body left behind from the graveyard fight several issues ago was, but we'll have to figure that out for ourselves another time. What we do end up discovering, though, is that big Osborn family secret that Norman was trying to hide. You see, that mysterious man who kept attempting to make deals with Norman was actually Mephisto in disguise all along, and in a very biblical turn of events, Mephisto promises to reshape the world for Osborn's benefit so he could be a big, rich success in business. The only price he would have to pay is the soul of his ill-begotten son, Harry. Norman begrudgingly agrees, and we all know what happened next, don't we? Osborn becomes a major force of industry, thanks in no small part to his Goblin formula research, which also ends up driving him mad and turning him into a costumed supervillain whose actions lead to the death of Gwen Stacy and eventually Harry himself after a fact. Understandably, even someone as wicked as Osborn couldn't deal with the part he played in his son's death, and as such, he decided to do something. They keep it kind of vague, but what we know for sure is that Mysterio was there and involved, and also a Harry AI backup. If I had to guess, I would assume that post One More Day, One Moment in Time, Harry Osborn is actually some sort of crazy homunculi construct. All of this, of course, still very much begs the question, if that is true, then what exactly is the deal with Kindred right now? Is he a demon like he claims, or is there more going on? Well, Kindred vows to finally reveal all to Mary Jane, but not until the next issue. And so that was Amazing Spider-Man issue number 72, everybody, and thankfully it looks like we're finally getting some resolution to years-long Kindred storylines. The only problem is, I don't know if I actually like the answers we're starting to get. I think most Spider-Man fans, myself included, wanted less interaction with Spider-Man's life by the devil, not more, which is what we end up getting here at the end of this story. Yes, I understand thematically how it all makes sense that if Norman made his own devil's deal, him and Peter are still kind of cut from the same cloth, etc., etc., it's all connected. It's just when you start bringing in a bunch of gods and devils and other deities into your story that puppeteer people, they kind of lose their own sense of free will and stuff starts to lose its impact. It's a hard pill to swallow that the Green Goblin maybe only became the Green Goblin because of some sort of monkey's paw side effect of making his own deal with the devil. Yeah, Mephisto couldn't have foreseen how exactly that could have all shaked out, but still, it makes the whole thing feel a lot less special. Also, while I've been certain for a while now that Kindred would probably have one last big reveal up his sleeve, I kinda question how impactful it's all going to be when we know that the story is this close to being over. For what it's worth, though, I did enjoy this issue more than the last couple, which is why I give it a 7 out of 10.
Hey there everyone, Kate Joel again, and I just want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. It means a lot to me. And hey, if you enjoyed the book I covered in this issue and want some comics of your own, might I recommend Book Depository? It's my #1 place for shopping for comic book trades. You get a great price, and if you use my link down in the description, you'll actually be helping me out at the same time. You get something, I get something, everybody wins, right? So until next time everyone, I've been Joel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.